forthcoming US presidential election, and in particular in this session we're going to focus on its implications for the wider world, of course not least Europe, Greece, this region. And for that we have an extremely distinguished panel. Ντόρας Μπακογιάννη, MP, President of the Standing Committee on National Defence and External Affairs, and of course former Foreign Minister of Greece. We have Wes Mitchell, former US Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs, served in the Trump administration under Mike Pompeo's State Department, and principal of the Marathon Initiative, and of course both Ντόρας Μπακογιάννη and Wes Mitchell are familiar to this event. We're grateful for you coming back to speak to us. We have Markos Konalakis, visiting fellow from the Hoover Institution at Stanford University, and John Stilides, geopolitical strategist at Trilogy Advisors, and a former diplomacy consultant at the State Department. So a very distinguished panel. Dora, if I could start with you to look ahead to the US election. The small things are at stake in what may be the outcome.
Well, honestly, you have much bigger experts than me to tell you what the outcome will be. But let me say that, as you know, Europe is in a turmoil. There is a lot of anxiety around what will happen with the American elections, what the result would be, how these elections will influence the different problems we face in Europe and also the world, what the relations will be with the rest of the world, how will NATO look after we have the first experience during the first term of Trump's presidency, in case Trump is elected. As you know, we are facing a very difficult moment now in Europe. The French elections were an expected shock, not as big, hopefully, as we feared, but the results will show it next Sunday. What will happen in France? The German-France relationships are not the relationships we knew in the past, so Europe is in front of a lot of new and old problems. The role of the United States is crucial. It's crucial for Ukraine. It's crucial for the Middle East. How the new, whatever it will be, American administration will work in the Middle East. The Middle East for us is extremely important. As President Gül said before, we follow the whole evolution with a lot of concern because, as you probably know, Greece is in a very particular position. We are honest brokers in the region. And I think we are a country which has shown also in the past and today that we are able to communicate in a very good way, both with Israel and with the Palestinians. But a lot, of course, depends on the United States. Now, the last debate, which we followed, it was a very bad idea, let me tell you, to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to see this debate. It was really disappointing, very disappointing. For people who have done foreign policy all their lives, to see this debate of the leaders of the free world, I mean, we cannot talk it around. It was a great disappointment, and it added up to the anxiety everybody feels. So the United States in trouble, at least for 6 months to come. Europe in trouble, at least for the 6 months to come, gives a message to the countries around, Putin believes he's much stronger, so he attacks in a completely different way. In the Middle East, there is no sign of any kind of agreement due to the fact that everybody waits, or at least Netanyahu waits, the American elections. And of course, the whole of the rest of the world feels free to make movements which until now they would think twice about. So I stop here.
Well, that's a depressing, but understandably depressing.
I'm sorry, I would like to be more optimistic, honestly.
Yes, you didn't mention that we did at least learn something about the presidential golfing prowess and their handicaps. I mean, this is of great...
This was very important.
Great geostrategic importance. But just suppose for a moment that we have a second Trump term. What do you expect would happen in Ukraine, or the implications for Israel-Palestine? Do you think there would be a change in dynamics in both those circumstances?
Well, I'm not the big expert. I think we will hear from Ambassador Mitchell more. But as far as I see it from Greece, probably the war in Ukraine is not the first priority for Trump. So I don't believe that the money will be flowing towards Ukraine, which means practically that Ukraine has to give in one way or another. If it is politically covered or not, I don't understand. I agree with President Gül that we should have never been there if we would take much more seriously the Minsk agreement and work on the Minsk agreement, but that's history. Yeah. So this will be, I think, a change. Another change might come in the Middle East. I don't know exactly what ex-President Trump thinks about the Middle East. I think he believes that he might put up some kind of Arab government in Palestine for a while until the new Palestinian leadership would emerge. But this is easily said than done. And for the moment, the situation in Palestine is really appalling. And we had a proposition, and I had also a personal proposition, at least to take 8,000 children out of Palestine and not let them starve to death. And for the United States, it would be a problem. But for Europe, it would not be a problem. The Europeans would be ready to save 8,000 children from famine. But even that is not possible for the moment. So we are completely stuck. Mm-hmm. And we are stuck because we will have elections.
Right. So the question...
democracy is a wonderful system. We haven't invented, we Greeks, anything other than democracy. But unfortunately, during the electoral campaign, nothing moves. So practically the problems grow even larger.
Yes. So I think the question is, in 6 months' time, do things become unstuck in some way? Where's Mitchell? Thank you. Dora.
Well, thank you very much.
They've said it all for you.
They said it all. I mean, there are very few things I can add. I think that, of course, I agree with everything you said. But except that, Greece is playing a significant role inside the European Union now. The European People's Party is the biggest party in the European Union. Kyriakos Mitsotakis and Prime Minister Tusk were the two main negotiators for the European People's Party. So Greece, for the first time after many years, after we went through a lot of problems, is recognized inside the European Union as a country which can play a role. And the second argument is what I told you before. In the region, we are honest brokers. I think we are the only country who is really able to be of help in negotiating, in speaking with everybody, for the very simple reason that we have the good relations to both sides, and we are honest and open in these relations, and stable. So Greece's foreign policy is a stable foreign policy. It is based on our values, on international values, and I think that we can be of help mainly during this time where a lot of questions are open. As Marco said, we have the movable pipelines, and these movable pipelines are the ships, I mean. These are very important in a period of crisis. So I hope that we will be able to produce some kind of ideas which would be helpful for the whole region.
So if I